Greetings, programs. This is Wretch, and welcome back to VTM Night Road. And in the last stream, we were able to explore a very interesting area, Biosphere 0. And in doing so, we met a group of humans that were there investigating stuff on their own accord, and we encountered the Lampago, the legendary Gangrel, who everyone thought was like this savage beast. And she was, but she was also very cunning and smart and devious. And we ended up fighting her and knocked her out of a window, or an opening rather. We also did a stalemate with a mage, which is pretty cool. Magic versus magic. It was a pretty cool time. Now we are done with that. We are heading back home. Before we get started with this, I want to kind of let you guys know somewhat of an annoyance with this game. It's the only critique I really have. Is they're continually patching the game and changing stuff, and it can actually mess up save games. Vosros will probably give you guys more info in the chat for people watching the stream, but when they do a patch, and they seem to be doing a patch like every 2 weeks or so, in order to get like the full experience, you kind of have to start the game entirely over again and go through all of the decisions, which is awesome that Vosros kind of keeps track of everything that I do in the game, so it's time consuming, but I can get back to the point. But also mechanics change. They kind of nerfed the XP a little bit, so I actually went into this area. I'll go ahead and show you my stats real quick. If you all remember, I had 2 dots in wits, and I think I had another dot in awareness. And unfortunately, because of them changing the XP drops up on like 1 or 2 quests, they're altering like individual stuff, not the entire game as a whole. I went in with like 2 dots less, including nothing in wits. I actually took I took a dot in dex before going back into Biosphere 0, and it was actually a good thing that we did, because we were able to go ahead and fight the Lampago and survive, because we also had that awesome sword that we got in the last stream. So just letting you guys know, sometimes things will change just a little bit, but the core of Wretch's adventure here is pretty much the exact same. So let's go ahead and take a look at how much XP that we have now after finishing. So we've got 13 experience points, so I can go ahead and get that dot in wits and whatever else that we need to get. And right now our wealth is at 22.99, with our assets at 22.99. Remember, we are getting some pretty significant pay now once we get back to the prince, so let's go ahead and do that. The safe house is an unfinished and neglected McMansion. Only one of the rooms is finished, but all 4 walls are up and the windows are boarded over. It'll do. The next evening, you finally check out the cache. You make a list of all the tapes, reels, notebooks, and cassettes inside, and take photographs of each page of the notebooks. Most of it is in code, but a typed-out subject list is not. Subjects include thaumaturgy, the moral philosophies of the now-vanished Sabbat, the vitae experiments of someone named Jacob Prester, the early history of the Masquerade and arguments against its adoption, and a dissertation on the shadow architecture that you recognize from the Viper's rooftop Elysium. Carlos is waiting for you outside of town. You spend most of the night in his Toyota Ep.6 as he takes back roads and nervously weaves through traffic, watching for cops and listening to the radio and the police scanner. He barely talks. You're back in Tucson 2 hours before dawn, and staring down at Tucson from your penthouse apartment with the data cache next to the elevator a few minutes later. So, where is all this information going? So, we can go ahead and send the stuff to Antonio and the others. That's not freaking going to happen. They were lucky they escaped that with their lives. We can use the information to insulate from the SI and shore up the Masquerade and our position. That would probably take care of any Masquerade breach kind of stuff, but we can take care of that fairly easily. We can make copies. The third option makes some sense. You take everything to Prince Leteau at the Viper. You make sure Julian copies everything he needs. Yeah, I actually agree. Leto is where the money is. That's true. I guess we'll use the information to insulate ourselves from the SI and shore up the Masquerade. Because remember, things were a little bit loose. Because let's look at our Masquerade breaches right now. We are at 3. So I'm kind of curious. I use the information to insulate me from the SI and shore up the Masquerade. Only when I feel secure do I go to the Viper. So I'm kind of curious what that means. Like, do we basically just use this to lower our Masquerade violation and then go to the Viper? Is it kind of like a freebie? Or is that going to upset the Prince if we do that? Because it's definitely one of these two options. What do you guys think? Because I agree with Kat that the third option does make sense. But I'm just hoping... Sometimes, you can interpret things in a game and it's the exact opposite. They're mutually exclusive. Do one, you can't do the other? Gotcha. Alright, well, let's go ahead and take everything to the Prince, then. The music inside is thunderous. The pounding beats of Aamon threaten to break the neighbor's windows every time the door opens.
Prince Leto is waiting for you,
Alexander shouts. His eyes dart past you to... Who? When you turn, you don't see anyone. Leto and Dove are arguing alone on the rooftop Elysium. You catch the words, shut down and bureaucratic bullshit. Riga cries out from atop a cactus when she sees you, and the kindred falls silent. You've wheeled the whole thing in on a dolly. Prince Leto's expression reveals nothing. Open it. You open the one working lid and take something out at random. A round film canister. It gleams white in the dim lights of the Viper. White like August 1947. It won't last, you say as the moon rises over New York City. It can't. We can't keep running around like neonates. Nothing has changed, Leto says. He started wearing white again. The war is over, you say. Europe is in ruins. My homeland will never heal. And America... I hate this place. I hate its crudeness, its proud and boastful ignorance. I want to rest. Don't say that, Leto cries. We don't have to stay here. What if we go west? There's no more west, you tell him. It's just California now. It's just more of this. And I can't see another night of this.
I've done some research on that Stonehenge thing, boss, Dove says. Boss, I've talked with one of my contacts at the University of Arizona. Boss?
Leto steps away from you, then signals a retainer waiting near the stairs. The servant returns after a few minutes with your payment in a manila envelope. You get out of there as quickly as you can. One thought keeps going through your mind. He knows. Leto knows what happened to Elia. He has to. You return to your penthouse and park the BMW. That day you dream of sand. Smoke rises from the twin wrecks that stain the dunes. Your albatross was merely a functional machine, adequate if unloved. But the prototype staggering spat of your rival flew was a thing of beauty. You've seen many wars, but never one so unlovely as this one. Your shattered legs are still healing. The jump was better than the flames, of course. Then sand slides down another dune. The other pilot! His goggles and cap are gone, so his shaggy blonde hair gleams in the moonlight. He sees you, draws a pistol, and then puts it away. You You should be dead, you say. You try Arabic, and then French. I fell from horses when I was alive, he answers, and now I fall from planes. They both hurt about as much. The nearest village is 30 miles to the north. Shall we walk together? As you walk, you consider what this means. January 1918. Right now, revolutions are breaking out all over the mortal world because people want something better. Existence cannot go on like this. Something new must arise in the world of the Cainites. But what? Whatever it is, you know that it will involve dreadful sacrifices, as well as a clear vision of the future. What awaits you in this new century? And most importantly, can you shape it to your will? Through toil and cunning, can you create a better world for all Cainites? I'll build something new and better, whatever it takes. Soon the world will change forever, and you'll be there to make sure Cainites can survive and thrive. The mob, the rivalries of cat clans and sects, the endless bitter struggle just to survive another night, all must go, and you'll find a way to bring it about. Conviction gained, a better world for kindred is possible. Where to tonight? Ooh, Masquerade violations! Oh man. That's not good. We can't go lower our Masquerade. That's not available. If I had known that, I would have gone with that other option. Okay, so we've got $15,623, guys. Not bad. And looks like there are some new cars. We've got a 2008 Mercedes-Benz S-Class, a 73 Ford Mustang, a 70 Dodge Challenger 383, a 2011 Cadillac Escalade, a 1969 Lamborghini Eslero, a 2009 Nissan GTR, and a 2017 BMW i8. Okay, well, let us go ahead and maybe Vani can help with the Masquerade. That would be nice. We definitely need to stop by her lab if we can. I don't know, Vosros. We had, I forgot what our stats were. I think we had like 3,000 something. And now we've got 3,009. It kind of, I think it went up just a little bit. Well, let's go ahead and let me look up some of these vehicles. Because we got to check those out, right? Mercedes-Benz S-Class. All right. So this is the 2008 Mercedes-Benz S-Class. Examine this. You can almost hear the cello music playing as you check out the S-Class. Big, black, and arrogant. This is the car the boss steps out of. It feels even better when you slip into the driver's seat and fall into a cocoon of leather and precision German engineering. The Mercedes-Benz S-Class is a juggernaut of good taste. And also a regular juggernaut. You could smash a bus off the road in this thing, given its combination of hardened design and blistering acceleration. So that's 13 grand. We could buy it. What about the 1970... Okay, 1973 Ford Mustang is classic. Come on now. This big black and gold Mustang looks great, inside and out. The engine and undercarriage are clean and the interior smells like a really high-end leather fetish shop. But does all that care result in a muscle car you can drive? When you peel out of Rainer's and accelerate, you soon learn the answer is yes. The Mustang isn't an easy car to drive by modern standards. It's rough, it's loud, and it doesn't like lower gears. But it shreds any straightaway you put in front of it. And it even handles better than you were expecting. And it's beautiful. How much is the Mustang? Mustang is $19,000. Holy crap. Alright. 1970 Dodge Challenger. 383. Oh yes. You almost walk past the famous Challenger on your way to the more impressive cars before you realize what you're looking at. The muscle car is matte black with understated silver trim. The exterior is a little worn down, but you pop the hood and find the 383 cubic engine Magnum V8 in perfect condition. The interior is spotless, with none of the rough patches you saw outside, and you start to get it. Weirdly enough, this car was designed to blend in. When you start the engine, the Challenger is exactly as fast as you expected, and much more maneuverable. It rumbles around traffic, loud and rough, but unexpectedly quick. This is an exceptional machine. Okay, so out of our league once again. Let's look at the 2011 Cadillac Escalade. Oh, the SUV. Okay. The big black Escalade is perfect for holding a bunch of guys with submachine guns. You don't have a bunch of guys, but you have a long, hard road ahead of you, and the Escalade is great for that sort of thing. As you get inside and explore the luxury features, you think that those are nice enough, but what you're really after is the Escalade's monstrous toughness. Someone has modified this luxury SUV for off-roading. It's practically a rally car. Maybe with some kind of emergency services vehicle in its last life. You take it out and throw it around the streets of Tucson, scaring the hell out of other drivers. It's not quick, but its big V8 means it accelerates fast, and it's almost ridiculously tough for an SUV with an interior this nice. That has a durability of 6. Holy crap. Okay. Next up. Oh, we could actually get the Escalade, too. 1969 Lamborghini. Islero. Look at that little thing. You never expected to even approach affording a classic Grand Touring car like this, let alone a Lamborghini. But you turn the screws on Rainer, and it soon becomes clear that this Islero's title is such a mess that Rainer can't really sell it to enthusiasts. It's been stolen, rebuilt, involved in a Las Vegas robbery, and subsequently lost for over a decade. But when you check it out, it still looks good. No warping, no engine problems. When you slide into the dark blue Lamborghini and take it out, it's a joy to drive. It's ancient, of course, which means it's a little rough, but that huge V12 is like jumping to light speed every time you accelerate. And it's nimble. The mess with the title is a concern, but it's hard to think about old accidents when you're zipping through Tucson in a Lamborghini. Durability of 2. Almost maxed out everything else, though. And then 2009 Nissan GTR. Ooh, I like that. The GTR is black on the outside, Black and red on the inside, and no one screwed around with the engine. You get yourself comfortable, fiddle with the paddle shifter for a second, and then very carefully start it up. It's less crazy than you expected. Even as you get it on the road, it handles like a pretty nice Altima. And then you drop the accelerator, almost fly through the diesel Mercedes in front of you. When you get the beast under control again, you have to admit that this is the fastest car you have ever driven. You can outrun anything short of gunfire in this thing. And once you've learned how it wants to be handled, it's quick too. This is one hell of a machine. Dangerous and powerful. Good sound system too. Oh, wow. 40 grand. Now, let us look at the 2017 Bmw I8. Now, this is going to be the pricey one. Classic cars are fun, but this silver and black BMW looks like something from the future you were promised. Its butterfly doors are outrageous, and its stark white interior, lit by a futuristic blue glow, is as comfortable as it is luxurious. And as you take it off the lot and start to drive, you discover that it's fast, maneuverable, and surprisingly tough. It's got a 5 in speed, a 5 in maneuverability, and a 4 in durability. And that thing is 50 grand. Yeah, I know. Does it time travel? It's got the doors for it, kind of. What was the stats on that Mercedes-Benz? Speed 5. Can you upgrade these cars, Vasaros? Can you go to the shop and update them like we did with the original BMW? Oh, we can, Vito? I feel out of all of these, the Mercedes-Benz, I kind of agree with Vasaros. The Mercedes-Benz is, you found the upgrade as a one-shot? And you saved up for the BMW? You know what? Our BMW is still nice with the 333. I think it'll hold on for right now. Technically, its stats are the equivalent to, who knows what relationship change. And if Julian does not like you, they won't upgrade it. But Julian likes me, though. Currently. I think. Yeah. Get along with everybody. So 14,000, huh? Or the Benz, excuse me. Yeah, if we improve it, that BMW is going to, or excuse me, the Mercedes-Benz is going to be a 545. And it's going to be discreet, too. You know what we're going to do? We're going to go ahead and sell the BMW and buy the 2008 Mercedes-Benz. Okay, let's go back into... Whoops, wrong window. We'll see what happens. Bam. You slide comfortably into the driver's seat of the Mercedes-Benz S-Class. Commoners in their Suburbans and Subarus and Nissans brake to avoid approaching your august majesty, and pedestrians wait their turn, as God intended, allowing you to roll through town untroubled by their antics. Oh man, that's awesome. Okay, let me double check. Don't care about the firearms. It is time to use our stats Now remember, they did kind of retcon stuff, so I still have a 1 in wits, which we definitely, and a 1 in awareness. So let's go ahead and spend 8 of our 15 to get that back to snuff. There we go. Whew. I feel better now. Let's go ahead and leave the used books. We will see if there's... Can we unlock any further secrets of the blood? We get our dominate or our fortitude up. What do you guys think? I want to raise up either our dominate or our fortitude. I'm leaning toward fortitude just because, well, you know, armor. Fire and claws and such. Actually, considering the fact that we're going to be going against either a Methuselah or the Second Inquisition, I'm pretty sure fortitude would probably be nice. Dominate is great in a pinch. The social stats are okay. I've got manipulation, leadership. I've got 5 and 4s down the board, which is okay. I'm going to go ahead and get fortitude. Fortitude, yoink. Fortitude increased. And you think combat? Yeah, dominate's just really good to have in a situation of, hey, I don't have time for, you know, it's good in like a speed situation. Paragon, fitness. Get our combat to 2. And experience points 1. That was a good call, Chris. That puts our combat stats up to 5. With our, maybe 6 with the Wakizashi. Okay, respect the traditions, perpetuate your existence, rule the weak. Love it. Very Tremere. We shall leave Paragon. What's our... Okay, hunger is 2. Definitely need to get some blood. As always, Alexander has a vessel waiting for you. So what's our money situation at now that we have? Are we broke as a joke? Oh, we still have 2,417. That ain't bad at all. A little bit of spending money. Let's check Vani's laboratory, see what's up. Okay, so this is where we can go, like, court our ghoul, if we want. No. Check our remaining jobs. And I think it is time for us to... There's other stuff behind that option? Oh, okay. Well, fine. I want to do something with you that isn't a job. Something fun. Bonnie looks like she could use a good time. Like a date? Bonnie says, blinking. No, don't answer that. Like what? The answer is yes, actually. I just spent all day staring at a screen, so as long as I don't have to stare at a screen, the answer is yes. Is her eagerness the result of a genuine interest or her blood bond? Maybe you'll never be able to tell. Oh, cool, look at that. Okay, there's the courting. We can increase our stats with either Leteau or Julian. Nice. I want to make sure you're not about to run out of money. And if you have any plans for making money, I'd like to get in on them.
I planned this move from the first time I saw Dr. Call beat someone to death, Bonnie says. So I have money. But if you're looking to raise some quick cash...
Go on.
It's my landlord, she says. We've been having plumbing difficulties and he won't fix anything. And I don't have time to deal with him. No, that's not what I mean. Don't kill him. I just need someone to give him a formal written complaint from everyone in this building. But I don't want it connected back directly to me. If you could help with that, I'd appreciate it.
I'll handle your landlord problem. Tell me where he is.
Remember that you can't kill him.
You want to remind Vani that you're not a monster, but maybe you are.
He's up before dawn and always goes to the same Dunkin' Donuts, Vani says. All you have to do is give him the formal complaint.
She hands you the letter and a piece of paper with the address, a photo, and a name. You run a few minor errands that night, then head to Dunkin' last thing. Vani's landlord is a chubby Korean guy in a tracksuit. His Lexus is double parked outside. Are you Ethan Kim? You ask, reaching into your silkscreen jacket.
Oh, Jesus fuck, no, don't kill me,
he says, falling off his stool. A few people look your way. I'm here on behalf of some of your tenants. And you hand him the letter. He scowls, gets up, glares at the other pre-dawn Dunkin' goers, and skims the letter.
Oh, the fuck is this? He says.
Which one of them wrote this, huh? Tell me, you little fucker, I'm gonna... You reach into your silkscreen jacket again.
Oh, fuck, no, wait.
You've done your job. You get out of there.
He's actually a really nice guy,
Vani says the next evening.
I mean, most of the time. His wife makes her own kimchi. I still have a jar if you...
I guess not.
But thank you.
She then hands you a check for $5,000. Before you can protest or even think, she says,
I'm going to make this back in 2 weeks. Take it. I owe you.
And it's not like you're going to turn it down. You get the money into one of your accounts. Where to tonight? Love it. Alright guys, so out of everything that we have to do right now, we are going to go to Dallas to pick up whatever information D'Espine has. Or D'Espine. Just need to stop at the Viper first to get her address. Make it go away! Oh, never mind. Came here from YouTube thanks to the time zone. I usually can't catch the stream, so finally did. Want to say big thank you for the videos. Loving your Let's Plays. Keep it up. Good night. Oh, thank you, Lucky Creepy Pet. I appreciate that. The time zone usually can't catch the streams. Yeah, Vassaros and some of them are over on the other side, and they can't, they stay up to watch these, and I very much appreciate that. I appreciate you, too. Thank you so much. Spas. Alright. So let's go to this, let's go to the Viper and get the address. Now remember, we're dealing with I think if we're going to be dealing with an Elder Nosferatu, we want to save that for last. So. Chapter 9, The Cinderblock. Tucson, Arizona. Night of December 9th, sunrise, 7:13 a.m. You pick Vani up at Vani's lab, then drive to the Viper. You turn the Mercedes radio to hear the good news. This is Melpany Chan, and you're listening to Mel at Midnight. The sudden death by suicide of conservative Professor Greg Halden has shocked the University of Arizona. Halden emerged into the national spotlight in 2017 after the publication of his first book, Naming the Tiger, a work of neo-reactionary philosophy. After being suspended by the University of Arizona for allegedly anti-Semitic remarks and claims that the Catholic Church was being infiltrated by what he called spiritual parasites,
He was suddenly reinstated just 2 weeks ago. Several members of the traditional Catholic and neo-reactionary movements have claimed that Halden's death should be investigated as a murder. You roll past that conquistador statue in the middle of Tucson and get around a traffic jam, idly thinking about the offers you've heard and deals you've made over the last few weeks, since your CRX broke down. Then the moon passes behind a building, and in that moment you have a sense of powers moving in the darkness, vast luminous shapes you rarely see and could not recognize. In that instant, Despine is not some aesthete with a nightclub, but the entire Camarilla, the alliance made in desperation that grew into a conspiracy that reshaped Europe and the world. Okay, Kath, how would we pronounce this? Despine or Despine? I would just be Despine or D-Espine. I don't know. Despine. Okay. Despine. Lateau, dove, fragments of a greater whole. And what does that make Julian Sim? The moon reappears, and you realize that you don't have to decide now, but soon. You'll have to decide soon. I'm just here to make money and live well. And if an opportunity shows up in the next few weeks to live really well, I'll take it. Yeah, I honestly do not know. After seeing what the SI did to Dallas, you know one thing for sure. A lot of people are going to burn before this is all over. Camarilla lackeys, Julian's acolytes, cops, regular people? Who knows? All you know, there's going to be a lot of holes all over the Southwest soon enough. Empty houses, bank accounts tied to the dead or dust, and you can use that sort of thing. You're going to keep your eyes open. You arrive a little later than last time, but the nightclub still isn't open. A Tucson police cruiser is in the deserted parking lot, and Department of Health sticker cover the doors. When Dr. Call got into a power struggle with another Tremere, he called the Bureau of Land Management on her instead of breaking out the grimoires, Bonnie says. She was tangled up in litigation for months. You can only get inside by hiding from the cop car and climbing the fire escape up to the mostly empty Elysium. Alexander and Carlos are up there, passing a joint back and forth. Do you see this, Wretch? Carlos says. Al, show him how you hold a roach. Like a degenerate Frenchman. Look at that. Disgusting. Carlos takes the joint back.
As you can see, Alexander tells you, we have suffered a momentary setback, but you still have work. Continue to remain off the highways, and remember not to use phones.
Do you have anything for me? You ask.
This time you are picking up, not dropping off, Retainer says.
His breath is particularly rank this evening. He hands you the key, or hands you the address to the Cinderblock. Despine's Jazz Club in Dallas, and the key to a one-bedroom apartment a block away from the club. I got a Despine, okay.
Despine is awaiting a courier. Tell her Lateau sent you, and to give you the information he needs.
That easy, you say?
I doubt it,
Alexander says. He smiles, showing his little gray teeth. You need to keep away from El Paso, so your best bet is to head north out of Tucson, then risk the US 60 past Lubbock and Abilene. Hey, my territory. After that, it gets easier. Texas is a spiderweb of minor roads, so you can remain flexible if you need to improvise. You don't want to approach Dallas from Fort Worth. Too much police coverage. That still leaves you with a lot of options. You ask yourself the same question as last time. Where can you find shelter during the day? You did fine last time, but who knows what awaits you on the road east? I mean, we can go ahead and investigate local newspapers again. But I'm not sure if that's going to be the smart option. I don't want to rig up a portable shelter inside the car. I love the new car, but I don't want to sleep in it. Unless I absolutely have to, you know. Let's see. We should be... Charisma... Charisma and persuasion. Manipulation and subterfuge. No, our charisma and persuasion is a 4. Oh, with the nice suit. I keep on forgetting I have the nice suit. Good call. It should be easy to throw some money around and stay someplace nice. I'll have to rely on charm and persuade people not to pay much attention to me. There are a few decent hotels along the way in New Mexico with good rooms and high-end amenities. After giving Vani the address for the Cinderblock and watching her Fiat's taillights disappear down the street, you think about the best place to stop for the day. You suspect your best bet is someplace called Roswell in New Mexico. Sounds dull, but they have plenty of motels. The drive east is boring, full of winding county roads and Texas roadside kitsch. You pass all sorts of crummy alien-themed motels until you pull into the parking lot of a Marriott. It's hardly the Burj Khalifa, but it's nice enough that you can buy privacy and courtesy if you look the part. You throw on your suit so you look the part and head inside. This is nice. Not ostentatious, but quiet. A good place to recover from a drug habit, maybe. You chat with the night clerk at the front desk and put them at ease, then offer a generous tip for a quiet place to stay. The clerk is apparently used to late-night visitors and is happy to accommodate you. You're shown to a cozy suite and handed a personalized card in case you need anything. The process is entirely civilized. You double-check the blinds, hang up some blankets in front of the windows, and go to sleep in the bathtub. Hold on. Okay, just to let you all know, because I was like, I nearly went to a con over the course of several years called Galacticon, which is in Roswell, and Roswell doesn't have a Marriott. They have like the Fairfield Inn and Suites and Town Place Suites by Marriott. They don't actually have a Marriott. So just a little clarification for you, breaking the fourth wall, son. The meta. As you get back on the road heading east, once again you scan your rearview mirror for signs of pursuit. But it looks like you're clear, and you head for Dallas. My immersion! And when it comes to like UFO styled places in Roswell, yeah. Roswell is all about the UFOs. And they even have a UFO-shaped McDonald's, too, if you've never seen that. It's a interesting place. Some part of you was expecting a war zone when you hit Dallas. Roadblocks, burnt-out cars, black and empty skyscrapers. But everything you see is eerily normal. The wide-open highways full of white trucks, tree-lined upscale avenues, and trash-strewn industrial boulevards look unchanged since your last visit. You approach from the north, crossing under the President George Bush Turnpike and then scanning for a tail. Nothing. You only know Despine by reputation as a socialite and ghoul shaper, but you doubt the aesthete will hand over her information for free. And it's not like Leto sent you with a suitcase full of cash. That'd be too much of a risk with the Camarilla as vulnerable as it is right now. You might be here for a few nights, just wheeling and dealing. Once you're sure you're not being followed, you head to your one-bedroom apartment. It's grubby and run down, but secure, with reinforced curtains and deadbolts on the doors. Vani's Fiat is parked outside, and she's already gone food shopping and set up portable cameras aimed at the door and window. You're just getting ready to scope out the Cinderblock when you hear movement outside.
Wretch, it's me.
Julian. You wonder how much the Camarilla knows about your dealings with Julian. Nonetheless, you check that the chain lock is secure, then crack the door.
Cool town, huh?
The Banu Hakim says, slipping inside with a friendly smile. You're not sure how he did that. His black and white berserk hoodie is covered in red stains. He can do that. Banu Hakim have that ability. Did you already piss off Despine? Because I need her to like me.
Not Despine, no. She likes me. We go way back. Not every hunter team is an FBI task force with links to the SI, you know. Most of them are just amateurs who saw too much. A couple of them found me. Hey, can I wash my hands?
He holds them up, and they're both covered in blood up to the elbow. While cleaning up in your bathroom, the Banu Hakim says,
How are you planning to get on getting the info from Despine?
She'll probably want some kind of favor. I'll see what sort of agreement we can reach, as long as it doesn't cost me too much.
She's going to try and screw you, you know,
Julian says from the bathroom.
But you have the right attitude. Never forget that the most established Camarilla would rather die than deal fairly. Despine is going to start making demands the moment you show up, and that assumes you can even get in.
It's not that exclusive, you say. You check your courier's outfit, then put your suit on.
The head bouncer is undercover FBI,
Julian says.
Part of their special affairs division, which deals with canine activity. Despine doesn't know. Whatever you do, don't just walk in. Once you're in, don't trust Despine. And once you have her information, obviously, I'm going to want a copy.
Okay, I want to look at our stats here. Or not our stats, excuse me, our relationships. Still doing great with both of them.
And what information am I picking up? I need to understand the bigger picture. Well, I won't know that until I read it, will I? Just give me that information. I'll make a copy, and then you can hand it over to Leteau. Easy.
He peels off his bloody hoodie, drops it in your sink, and gets ready to leave.
And watch yourself, Wretch. Hunters are everywhere, and they don't all die as easy as the kids I just left in a dumpster.
Dallas isn't a walking city, but sidewalks lead the way from your apartment to the jazz club. You check out the crowd. The line isn't long, but the people outside look sharp. The bouncer Julian warned you about is outside talking on his phone. You recognize him from Camp Scheffler. You cross the street before he notices you and consider what to do. You need to know who at the Cinderblock is compromised and in what ways before you can even think about approaching Despine. A cursory investigation of the jazz club's exterior turns up a few avenues of investigation you might pursue. If you're in the mood for some old-fashioned sleuthing, the club doesn't guard its trash very well. With enough patience, you could dig through that. But also you could try talking to people. Petty criminals hang around the Cinderblock just like at the Viper, and if you don't act the fool, you can learn things for a modest fee. Or you could just drift as close as you can to the line outside and listen, though you'd have to play it cool to not draw attention. And if you want to get dangerous, you could try testing the Cinderblock security system. Not to get in, just to see how they react. You'd have to be clever, though, to avoid getting caught. Or you could stay away from the club entirely. If that bouncer used to work for the feds, you might be able to hack into some badly secured government websites to learn more about him. Or you could focus on the club itself, not the bouncer. What sort of records might you turn up about its finances and its dealings? Well, I need to feed first. Where can I hunt around here? You don't want to hunt anywhere near the Cinderblock, since that might draw attention, but that still leaves the entire Dallas-Fort Worth metropolitan area. Nonetheless, this won't be easy. The Second Inquisition just finished their rampage, and even though the city looks normal, there's an edge to it, like it might explode again at the slightest provocation. So you better not provoke anyone. The higher-end clubs have a bad energy, like they're being watched. So if you want to hit the scene, you're going to end up somewhere dangerous. Somewhere street smart and staying cool are going to be more important than charm and dance moves. Bars and cafes seem relatively safe, if you're looking to fuck your dinner. There are lots of pretty young things out tonight, totally unaware that a major battle just tore through their city. Bit of charm, bit of deception, you should be able to get what you want. Just kicking someone's ass and taking their blood is possible everywhere you go, but you really don't want to make noise. There's still plainclothes SI-affiliated FBI agents, and probably worse, patrolling the city. You'd have to be clever to spot a vulnerable target and manage a silent, stealthy takedown. There isn't a lot of large animal prey around Dallas, but the bad parts of town have plenty of rats. It's an unglamorous way to spend the night, but quick hands would let you drink your fill of the vermin before dawn. And finally, with Dallas in chaos and the prince destroyed or missing, you're not even sure where you'd begin looking for blood. You want to risk a break-in with the SI everywhere, and you might be able to investigate Stu who still has connections and gain access that way. Since Suzanne isn't here, we'll advocate for the flirting option. Yeah, we'll go ahead and do that. Food by Snoo Snoo. We'll hit the bars and cafes to deceive, seduce, and feed from prey. Half the nightclubs in Dallas are nothing but wrestling pits and slot machines. Every place even halfway nice has a vibe like it's being watched. Like every third girl in a cocktail dress is an FBI agent working double duty for the Second Inquisition. But after several false starts outside of bars and a few busts inside, you end up in a mariachi bar with decor that hasn't been updated since the 70s. This place is full of old lounge lizards. You're about to leave this cavern of red velour and faded polyester when you notice how good-looking the staff is. You stick around. Music is pretty good, honestly. But what about the prey? What do you like? Cue the mariachi music. The crowd here isn't all bad, you think, and one of the waitresses is cute. Management makes the girls wear those old-timey embroidered Mexican blouses, but she wears hers knotted up at the waist like she's bartending at a beer garden. You catch her eye, and she slows down because you definitely don't belong here. "Are you eating?" she asks. You smile, and she smiles back. "Do I know you?" she asks. "No," you say. "Do you want to?" Your new friend definitely wants to know more about you. Fed up with this lousy job, she leaves early and takes you with her. It's a long walk to her place, but she's happy to ride in your Mercedes. She caresses you on the drive there, then runs to the front door of a small house that she shares with someone else, given the small truck out front. But you listen carefully, and it's empty at the moment. Perfect. "I need to get work off my skin," she says. She strips and then steps into the shower. Well, you're not just going to wait around. You fold your clothes on the dresser and join her. You try to take your time with the soap, but neither of you want to wait, and soon you have her up against the tiles. She needs this, and her body shivers with pleasure, but in the end, you know you're here for only one thing. On your knees as the steam swirls, you slide your fangs into her thigh. She cries out as you hold her up and drink. Finally, you've taken what you need, and your lover drifts into gentle unconsciousness. You pick her up, drop her on the bed, and brush out her hair, and then remember to turn the water off. The leaky bandits! After a brief sweep to make sure you've left no evidence behind, you get dressed and take off. As you drive back to your apartment, feeling pleased with yourself, you spot a black Buick SUV with its lights off across the street. You make an illegal U-turn, then park between two big trucks with your lights off. The Buick doesn't reappear. Did they see you? Were they SI? You can't tell. Anyway, you still need to get into the Cinderblock without drawing every hunter in Texas down on you and Despine. Your venture had an unfortunate incident with this girl and had to dispose of a body afterwards? Uh-oh, Chris. That ain't good. Let's see here. Well, we've got computer for days, so... That bouncer was a government agent. I'm smart enough to hack into some federal databases and learn more about him. Bonnie gets back from a late-night cafe with coffee and donuts just in time to help you set up. With your laptop, your phone, and the scanning equipment that's part of your hand-assembled intrusion kit, you get to work. The first thing you need is a name. To get that, you search for everything you know about Camp Scheffler until you find an article on The Guardian that mentions one of Olive Krona's flunkies by name. Looking him up, you find that he's written articles all over the right-wing blogosphere, from semi-legitimate publications to hardcore white nationalist websites. You're starting to think this is a dead end, since your target is black, when you turn up a photo on Twitter featuring both men at an open carry march. And that's when you finally leads you to a name. Louis Bellafon. But that doesn't get you far. It takes several more hours to learn his background. Finally, you discover that Louis Bellafon, born Louis Africa in Philadelphia in 1978, lost his family during the 1985 MOVE bombings. From there, he was moved into foster care. But then it gets interesting. Louis's face kept showing up in all sorts of left-wing groups, mostly black liberation, but also several radical environmentalist movements, just before they collapse or their members are all arrested. Louis has spent years infiltrating these groups, and it doesn't look like anyone else has identified him. That's interesting, but how does it help you? Ah, here you go. Contacts. Dozens of contacts, across dozens of identities, scattered all over the internet as these groups imploded. You spend the rest of the night collecting names and data. You still don't know how he ended up with the Special Affairs Division of the FBI and working for the Second Inquisition, but you understand who he is, how he operates, and what he knows how to do. This is invaluable. Look into the club itself. Yeah, I was thinking that too. Let's do a little bit of research. I'm going to check this, and then if not, then we'll go through the trash last. Conduct research at local libraries and university to see if we can make a connection. It's a joke among your clan that the only reason you're in the Camarilla is because the princess can keep libraries open all night. Unfortunately, you're not even sure who the Prince of Dallas is now, or if there is one. It's been a few rough years for everyone. But Vani has a local connection. You drive her yellow Fiat a half hour north to the University of Texas at Dallas and head into the library there, which is open to students and researchers. Between Louis Bellafon's name and your knowledge of the Cinderblock, you're able to pull up hard copies of local news stories that tell you all sorts of useful information. There's not much here about Lewis, but you follow police reports of the Cinderblock to the names and identities of the rest of the Jazz Club security personnel. This gives you information not just on his security team, but the people and companies responsible for the Jazz Club security protocols. You copy as much information as you can. Hey, Nova. Let's see. What's our wits and streetwise isn't high. I think it's like a 3. Oh no, it's a 4. It's okay. Yeah, with a stat of 4, unbelievable. Composure and awareness. That's 5. Dex and clandestine, which I do not have. Let's steal some of the Cinderblock's trash. Step 1 is getting the trash. Though it's not exactly guarded, people are always moving around in the streets and parking lots near the Cinderblock. You bide your time, then send Vani ahead to provide a distraction. Vani doesn't like being dangled like meat from a hook, but she walks past the guys outside anyway, and all eyes follow her. With Vani serving as a distraction, you back up your Mercedes and throw the Cinderblock's trash in the back. You and Vani throw a tarp down on the apartment's kitchen and start sorting. The first thing you find is a flip phone. There's nothing on it, so you destroy the SIM card so you can't be tracked and toss it. The rest of the work takes all night, but as dawn approaches, you have financial records, work schedules, inter-office memos, and someone should get fired for this if not exsanguinated, detailed information on the CCTV systems, including where to access them. You can basically walk through the Cinderblock like a ghost with the information you have here. Okay, I think that we are good. I know enough about the Cinderblock to get inside safely, and I don't want anyone tracking me to my apartment, so I go in. You bide your time until Lewis goes inside and the new guy at the door is someone who's never looked your way before. You're able to slip inside without a problem. Bonnie follows a few minutes later, so it doesn't look like you know each other. The Cinderblock is a jazz club, and from the posters outside, most nights that means hip-hop or Afro-Caribbean dance music, but tonight it's real 20th century jazz. A quartet is jamming on the stage while their singer, in her red sequin dress, drinks and flirts with a few old and important-looking men. You spot a silver-haired Ukrainian mobster from Tucson at a midnight blue table, negotiating with a young black man with a silver-tipped cane. You get just close enough to overhear a few words without them noticing you. "More than my people can use now," the black man says in pronounced French-Haitian accent. "Girls?" the mobster asks, his expression skeptical. "Girls, boys, two kinds of beautiful creatures who did not have when we were young. All very fine, though. Only the best for you, Victor." "The best of what you don't want, you mean?" Victor says. They all laugh, and you keep moving. As the music switches from a low-key jazz to swing and the crowds flood the dance floor, you spot Despine. She's looking right at you. "Whoa, hello there." You know the Aesthete only by reputation and description. She barely survived the fall of Tucson's last prince, and fled here to rebuild. Most kindred grow thinner and become more still and corpse-like as they age, but Despine is big and energetic, with a huge red smile and hypnotic eyes. Curls of black hair cascade down her broad back, swirling as she tilts her head to study you. She's always in motion, like a fledgling, her dark face artfully touched with cosmetics. She looks away and whispers to a slim and beautiful man seated beside her. He stands up, moving with impossible elegance. You've heard that the Aesthete conducts surgery on her ghouls to improve them. The ghoul moves so you, Despine and he form an equilateral triangle. You look for Lewis and don't see him. It's time to approach Despine, but how? Resolve plus awareness or investigation. Charisma plus intimidation. I like that I need an introduction from one of her people. That sounds like proper going through channels. Res and wits plus awareness investigation. Res and wits. Res and wits. Okay, I've got 5 for that. Charisma and leadership. Yeah, I don't want to risk Vani though. I always like having her like in the back pocket. I don't know. What do you guys think? Should we go ahead and send Vani in, or should we go ahead and try to get a herald essentially from Despine's own folk? Proper channel shows respect. Yeah, and if we're dealing with a Toreador, I mean that can go either way, really. Toreador can be quite unpredictable. Not, I'm assuming she's a Toreador. We're going to learn today. Let's go with that. Hit the bar, take my time, and listen to the crowd to figure out who can help me. The bar is hopping as the crowd orders complicated old-timey cocktails and preens for each other. You're just getting worried about making no headway when you spot a familiar face. Millicent. Of Millicent's, the bar back at Camp Scheffler, is seated at the edge of the bar with a tally counter clicker and a notebook. She's still dressed like a librarian. You don't approach Millicent right away. Instead, you listen as she talks to an underling. "We can't do anything for the blue blood while he's on the dance floor," she whispers, "but make sure he has the sort of girls he likes in the old piano room. Yori won't be a problem, but..." Millicent pauses when she notices you. Her eyes narrow, but she doesn't seem angry. "Oh, the courier, right?" she says. "You must have something for Despine. Logan, bring the courier to our mistress, please." Millicent's flunky Logan uncomfortably approaches Despine's inner circle, and you follow. The locals, including Yuri the Russian and a lick you recognize from Prince Leto's court, offer both of you withering glares. Logan hurries away. Despine glances you again, but pays you no mind. You remain where you are, and when she's finished disputing with a lick you remember from Camp Scheffler, she smiles and says, "Please allow me to introduce Wretch, Prince Leto's courier from Tucson. Do you have..." Oh, who to say this? Oh, okay, that's her saying. "Please allow me to introduce Wretch, Prince Leto's courier from Tucson. Do you have something for me, young man?" "Prince Leto needs information," you say. "Why doesn't everyone hit the dance floor for a few minutes?" Despine says. Her elegant followers leave in a casual way that still makes it clear that they obey her and only her. "I hear Tucson is a mess," Despine says. She studies the crowd as the jazz music picks up and then says, "We're all in trouble nowadays, Wretch. So tell me, what can you offer Despine in exchange for the information Leto wants?" An opening gambit to let Despine feel out your loyalties. You consider what to say. I'm curious, actually. What is the information I'm supposed to be picking up, in general? Despine shrugs and says, "Leto was a traveler before he ended up in Tucson. Like you, except he had a plane instead of a car.
I like to stay in one place, but I have connections all over the world. He wants those connections.
Is he going to run? You ask. If it gets bad enough, yes, Despine says. You don't survive 2.5 centuries by going down with the ship.
This place is riddled with spies, Despine says, watching the head bouncer from beneath heavy-lidded eyes. Which brings me to what I want from you. Her smile is friendly, or at least it looks friendly. But though you've earned the respect of the local Camarilla, you know how dangerous they can be when they're cornered. You sit back and wait. Despine takes her time. Toreador, I called it, are lovers of beauty. And to be fair to Espine, the jazz band is excellent. But finally she says, I'm going to need to deal with a lot of problems at the same time. Let's talk about which ones concern you. First, that little Malay girl who's been watching me. Despine eyes lead you toward a young woman in a long black coat who blended in with the crowd until now. You recognize Julian's assistant, Nadia. I want her gone. Julian wouldn't forgive you for that, even if gone doesn't mean dead in a ditch. But Prince Leteau won't forgive failure here either. I also suspect one of my bouncers. He might be working for someone else. The Prince, if she's still in one piece, or Hunters, but I just can't get rid of him. I need someone to feed him false information. And of course, Despine says, the SI hasn't just dragged kindred out of their havens and burned them. They've attacked us financially.
They've frozen your bank accounts? You ask.
Not exactly, Despine says, but we're being monitored. Our cash can't move freely, and if I use my powers, it's likely someone in the SI will notice that a bank just did me a favor for no reason.
How much money do you need? You ask.
Another $5,000 will mean I'm clear to operate again without the Second Inquisition's financial team sniffing around.
You're hitting me up for money, you say. You could pay that, but that's a significant chunk of what Leteau is paying you for this job.
It's a cash flow problem, Despine says. You'll help it flow again. Isn't that good for everyone?
And what exactly do you want me to do about Nadia?
Despine shrugs. Kill her? She says.
Hey, holy crap. All Dragon, thank you so much for that raid with a party of 36. Holy crap. Hi, Raiders. How's it going? Let's go ahead and give a shout out if possible. Hey, Lilani, you brought some friends over. Yes, you did. Holy crap. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the stream. My name's Wretch. I'm a YouTuber primarily, but I do a lot of streaming here on Twitch to raise money for Extra Life, which is an incredible charity that raises money for local Children's Miracle Network hospitals across the United States and Canada. So I'd like to welcome you all very much. How was your stream? What did you play? Good stuff, hopefully. Let's go ahead and get a shout out here. Hack. There we go. XCOM or How to Set the World on Fire. Nice. With the XCOM mod. Cool. I haven't really ever played an XCOM game before, but I played the Shadowrun games, which kind of run off the similar kind of combat system. That's awesome, though. Welcome, everyone. Well, if you're wondering what we're playing here, we are rocking out VTM Night Road. This is based on White Wolf's Vampire the Masquerade tabletop RPG, and this is like a huge choose-your-own-adventure game, where we have different stats, and it's kind of like a one-person tabletop RPG. So you guys are more than welcome to chill out. We are in our characters in Dallas, Texas right now, trying to figure out how to get a very artistic vampire on our side. So,
It's my club, so I can just say it. Or beat her up. Or trash her equipment so she can't keep spying on me. I don't give a damn about the details. I just don't want it traced back to me.
If I do that, Julian won't forgive me, you say.
This isn't like a personal thing, Despine says, her expression sympathetic. I don't even dislike Julian. I've met him a few times. Nice boy. Weird clothes, but not bad for an Assamite. But Leto doesn't like him, so I need to not like him. That's how it is.
And really, $5,000.
Well, money makes the world go round, Wretch, Despine says. Pay me and you can walk out with a case full of the data Leto wants. Right now.
So we could basically end it right now with a fistful of cash. So we get to choose. So Toreador have presence, celerity, and obfuscate, if I recall correctly. So nothing I particularly care for right now. Let's go ahead and just let him know about the bouncer. Yeah, I might as well rat out the bouncer. We're needing to deal with the Second Inquisition here anyway. Hey, Blackbird. Welcome. Oh, you got the extra life emote too. Awesome. You need to go get some food now? Well, All Dragon, thank you very much. Hope you had a good time XCOMing, and you have yourself a good one. And thank you so much for the raid. And thank you, Lilani. The head bouncer? Well, first things first. You know he works for the SI, right? Despine keeps her expression carefully neutral, but you can see her fitting together a lot of pieces. Finally, she says, well, that might just make our work easier. Here's what I know. From what I've seen of the SI, they're a confused group of overlapping government agencies that barely understand what we are. They're desperate for more information, even if it's bad. I've been going through my files from the 90s, back before I had this place, so the Bruja quit and the Assamites showed up, you know? All this information, it looks real good, real up to date. But I've been going through it, and it's wrong. Dangerously wrong. And I made some changes, and it's so wrong it's basically a weapon. And get it to Lewis, and he'll bring it right back to his masters, like a bomb. I love this trap within a trap scheme to ensnare the head bouncer, and it lets me avoid harming Nadia or Julian. Let's fool that bouncer. I had my suspicion about Lewis, Despine says from the disorganized desk in her modest office. But the SI? She glances at Millicent, and the bartender nods in confirmation. Millie, get Yuri and the other Russian, that woman who worked for the GRU. Let them know we're going to need someone killed. I thought Wretch was going to, and if he can't, the Russians will deal with him. So be a dear and tell him get ready. When Millicent leaves, Despine hands you a thick manila envelope full of dangerously outdated information. Basically VTM's second edition, it's the core book. You skim it. Now irrelevant kindred power brokers, long-destroyed princes, political contacts the Camarilla abandoned years ago, everything dated to look like it's recent. Trying to exploit any of this information will get a hunter killed. I don't care how you get this to Lewis, she says, but get into him in a way that lets him believe it's valuable. Stepping back into the jazz club late that night with your parcel, you consider what to do. You just can't hand Lewis the parcel. You need to lure him in. Like every good con, it requires a mark who wants what you have. Millicent is happy to supply you with information on the bouncer, including the address of his townhouse nearby, notes on his checking account, and other personal information. Your previous investigation of the Cinderblock means that you're even able to speak to some of the security personnel there and learn about him. The address... Wile E. Coyote gets to set his next strap up for the Roadrunner. Fortunately, hopefully we're not using any Acme products. The address isn't obviously useful because it's not like you're robbing him. You're trying to get him to rob you. Still, knowing where he lives lets you track his movements. To the Cinderblock, to the gym, to a 24-hour diner where he ends each long night. You see a few ways to convince Lewis to go for the package of bad data, but you know you'll only have one shot at this. And there's one other problem. If you lose this parcel, it's a major breach of the Masquerade, even if the information is out of date. Whew. Manipulation, I think I already know what we're going to do here. Our manipulation and subterfuge is 4. Big surprise. But the thing is intelligence and streetwise, I think, is 6. Yeah, that's the way to go about it. I spread hints about this information through the criminal underworld, and then sell it to him. That'll take real brains and won't be easy, but I'll make some money. You don't see any reason not to make a little cash while you're getting rid of Lewis. You start by hitting some of Dallas's countless other dives and clubs, spreading rumors about valuable data that everyone is looking for. You'll have to be careful here. The information you have contains accurate information about Kindred that would be an explosive Masquerade breach if it fell into the hands of some random crook. You double and triple check to make sure no one is following you, and then set your plan into motion. Toxic intel, deliver dangerously inaccurate information. So you work carefully, spreading rumors while controlling where they spread. You secure the help of a local middleman you can trust, not because he's honest or competent, but because he's too dumb to use the information on his own or place it in dangerous hands. Finally, after 2 nights, 3 dead drops and a swapped SIM card, you watch from a shadowy corner of an old country school and western bar as Lewis enters, scan the room, and spot your middleman. The deal is over in a few minutes, and the bad intel in the Second Inquisition's hands. You calmly walk across the bar's dance floor, under the swinging Michelob Ultra sign, and snag the middleman as he tries to make a break for it. Even after giving the would-be thief his cut, you don't want him causing trouble later, you're $8,000 richer, and you've handed the SI some absolutely toxic intel. Hard copies, of course, Despine says from around the corner as she unlocks a metal safe in her modest and cluttered office. She hands you a slimline briefcase with everything Leteau asked for. And what about Lewis? You ask. Despine flashes a huge and monstrous red smile. Gone. Vanished with all that bad data. He'll be feeding that poison to the Second Inquisition for months. You're better than most couriers I've dealt with, I have to say. You settle a little more comfortably into the plush chair, pleased with your work. Despine gestures to the briefcase and says, There's everything you need. She also hands you the registration information for a motel room outside El Paso, so you have a place to stay on the way back. How pleasant. You pick up the briefcase and leave the Cinderblock. After one last day spent resting in the Dallas apartment, you call Vani, and she helps you pack the apartment and sweep it at any signs of your presence. Your retainer takes off in her Fiat, and you leave by a separate route an hour later, using side streets to avoid pursuit. You're back on the highway in less than an hour. Your nerves are rattled the whole drive home. You feel eyes on you, and once you hear helicopters overhead. The motel outside El Paso seems secure, though Julian's thrall, Nadia, shows up just a few minutes before dawn. Here to scan the briefcase Despine gave you. Charge them?
Not for free, you aren't.
No, we've got money to spare. Like, we already made money causing that. I do kind of want to charge them, though. we got a war chest we've got to build. We're trying to put our ghoul through college. You're not going to do anything to it that Leteau would notice, right? I'm still trying to play both sides and stay safe. Of course not, Nadia says. She bangs on the door with whatever she's dragging behind her, knocking it open and barges inside. You could stop her, and she knows it. But as long as Julian doesn't expose you to the Camarilla, this shouldn't be a problem. Nadia hauls her suitcase up onto your bed and assembles some kind of scanning kit. You think it's the same sort of thing you're supposed to bring to find Mouse out in the desert. Her scanning takes less than 10 minutes and she hurries out of there. The next night, just like the first night, you spot cars following you for miles and miles. Once, you're passed by a Tesla truck doing well over 100 miles per hour. But no one makes a move. You take sides... Making money? Yeah. You take side streets into Tucson, top off your gas tank just in case, but no one comes for you, and you roll into the Viper parking lot. The Viper is still shut down. Graffiti covers one wall. When your headlights slice through a nearby alley, shining eyes reflect the light. Then whoever was hiding there scatters, fleeing deeper into the city. When you step out of your Mercedes, broken glass crunches underfoot. Riga is watching you from a lamppost, and she calls softly. The interior echoes with your step, like the tomb of some forgotten emperor. The lights are out, except for the red glow of emergency exits and some track lighting around the bar. A few armadillos snuffle around the entrance to the kitchen. Leto is seated at one table, reading Olga Tokarsuk's... that word! A pile of turquoise jewelry is scattered across the table. Wretch, Leto says, setting the novel down when you enter. His voice is soft. Do you have what I sent you for? Something tells you not to get too close. You set the briefcase down on the table and slide it across to the Eagle Prince. He opens it. This is it. Very good, Wretch. His voice is distracted. After a few seconds, the prince says, Why don't you sit down? We have some things to discuss. They concern events in my past and your future. Ooh. Okay. It's not like I don't regret what I did. Maybe this is the only way forward. Then what do you want to know, Prince Leto? The Prince of Tucson sighs, looks away, and then says, I need to understand. Boss! Dove shouts, skidding to a halt beside the prince. Leto doesn't startle. He only glances calmly toward the former courier. I just spoke with Sister Moore, she says. She dealt with that health inspector and figured out who was controlling him. They're all ours now. We can reopen. Leto jumps to his feet, scattering jewelry and dropping his novel. When? Now, like right now. And we need to. Our budget is down to what we owe Wretch, Leto says. Pay him. Then call someone to play a live show tomorrow night. I don't care who. Someone loud. No cover charge for the rest of the week. We'll make it back in drink cells. And Leto is off to make plans. Monetary fears temporarily overriding whatever very final conversation you expect, he planned to have with you. A few minutes later, one of the retainers hands you a wad of cash. By that time, the Viper is already filling up again. Another job done, you suppose. You return to your penthouse and park the Mercedes. That day, you dream of sunrise. Well, at least we shan't die of thirst, Leto of Braclaw says. I shall thank God for that. You're welcome to thank Mohammed. You roll your eyes, peel off your helmet, and enjoy surprising this gangrel whelp. I've seen women before, ma'am, he says, just never so high up. You guard your emotions well, you say. I look forward to seeing how you react to the sunrise. Hues of red and orange are spreading across the eastern sky. Ah, done. That rosy-fingered bitch, Leto says. Always spoiling an interesting conversation. I suppose you have no secret to escape it, despite your great age, or you have, despite your great age and wisdom. My veins are dry, you say. Well, I can't refuse you shelter, even if we are enemies, the gangrel says. His ankles sink into the sand, then his hips. Come with me, he says, holding out his hand. You take it, and the sand wraps around the both of you as you sink down into the desert, just ahead of the sunrise. In the blackness of that tomb, you consider who you are. So what that is that's an ability of the gangrel's protean discipline called Earth Meld. It allows them, if they have any kind of connection to the earth, they can just sink instantly down into it and basically keep themselves safe for a night. Or a day, rather. October 1917. Before this war, you kept to the ways of the Banu Hakim, if not exactly to the ways of the mortal empire in which you exist. In these times of chaos, you've come to respect the elders and their ways even more. Not just your own elders, even the traditions of the others, the Camarilla, have earned your grudging respect. Princes and primogen, laws and mutual respect, backed up by the wisdom and power of the elders, as the world grows more complex in these modern nights. That's the only way Cainites can thrive. The traditions and the elders are usually fine, but I'll not swear an oath to them unless I must. You shake off these strange notions of bowing to the traditions and drag yourself up out of sleep. Elia's memories cling to you as the sun sets and your night begins. Where to tonight? Doop-a-doop-a-doo. Well, yeah, let's go ahead and just go down the line here. We've got some... our Masquerade violations are still at 2, unfortunately. But let's see what we got in terms of... Stats page. Inventory. I know expensive cars. It's okay. 13. We've got $27,591, guys. Not too shabby. Not too shabby at all. So let's look at... that's actually taken out, Lilani. We have like an upkeep that we have to pay at certain times. I believe. I'm not sure when, but... we'll go to Covenant. Talk to Elena. Charisma and Persuasion. Is still at 4. I'm going to hold off on that. Go back to shopping. Imported autos. Yes, yes. We're very close to that Bmw I8 for $50,000. So we're gonna save up for this one, guys. By the way, when I remember I was telling you guys at the beginning of this stream that when they do patches, there was actually another house, Vosros. Did you know that? They've added another house that you can buy at the start of the game. Take a look at the Mercedes. Yeah, they added like an old Spanish mission, which is the most expensive house. It's like an old abandoned mission that it's got caves and or a maze and all kinds of really cool stuff on it. It was more expensive than the penthouse. I thought it would be perfect, but... Oh, was the mission from day one? I didn't even notice that. Okay, never mind. I stand corrected. I missed it? Ah. Well, fine. Spend some money and acquire some blood. Okay. Vonnie's laboratory. Let's look at relationships. Still doing great with Julian and the Camarilla. We're still juggling, guys. We're still juggling, doing a good job. Now we just need to figure out what we do here. I kind of want... Oh, I probably should get my wits up to 3, shouldn't I? Yeah. I've got 13. So I'd have 4 left if I got my wits up to 9. But the wits have been kind of an issue with us right now. So we'll have 2 across the board. We'll have 3 across the board for our social. And 3, 3, 4 for intelligence. I think that's a pretty good thing. What do you guys think? Should we pump up wits? If we're going into the desert, we may need a dot or 2 of survival. Yeah, I like that. That's good too. Kath. Well, we'll need wits and survival for it. That's normally the roll. So... Wits... Wait a minute. That's strange. Survival is under our mental attributes. But if we go... It's not here. Let's go for... Paragon Fitness. Where's survival? Where did it go? There it is. Hey, David. How you doing? Okay, so let's think about this. It would be 9. 9 to get our wits up. So if we do survival for 1 XP, we can do 2 dots in survival. Like so. And then we can still go to... We'll leave Paragon. We'll go back to the used books. And we still have enough to get our wits up. Bam. And that gives us 1 experience point to go. Now we're still at 3, 2, 1 in terms of our disciplines. We've got 3 in Blood Sorcery, 2 in Fortitude, and 1 in Dominate. I kind of want to take Auspex, but it's alright. We'll wait on that. Auspex is the other natural discipline for the Tremere. Vonnie's laboratory. Still want to do something fun with Vonnie, maybe. No. No. Because I think Wretch would potentially toy with that idea, like later. Keep in mind, I think he needs to know Vonnie a little bit more. But it's also the fact that we take Vonnie with us everywhere. She's our companion on the road, and I'm afraid if we came into danger because of the blood bond and everything, she would try and die. You know what I mean? She'd be like "No, Mr. President," and die, and I don't want to deal with that. And it's unwise to mix business with pleasure, absolutely. If it helps you don't snoo on the first date, well, that's nice, Phosphorus, but still. Let's see. So we'll need 2. There'll be 2 for... Yeah, next up is probably going to be all discipline stuff. And what's this last job Leto wants us to perform? An elder Nosferatu lurks under the desert sands east of Tucson. The Camarilla feeds him to keep him quiet, but Reremouse is still steering in his dreams. Leteau wants the monster destroyed before he rises, and his rampage draws every hunter within 1,000 miles. All you need to do is deliver some ground-penetrating radar equipment to the Camarilla base. What could go wrong? Alright, let's go. How much time we got? We got some time. Tucson, Arizona, night of December 14th. Sunrise, 7:17 a.m. You pick Vani up at her lab, then drive to the Viper. You turn the Mercedes radio to hear the news. Instead, you get an interview. Well, about 4 deaths linked to this nightclub, including Greg's suicide and the apparent murder of a police officer.
When you say linked, Elaine, Melpany says, but what kind of link is there?
Well, then there was the attack on the migrant camp, all the news about that genetic research facility, and what about the sudden dissolution of the 2100X?
You recognize that voice. It's Elaine Corbeau, the bookstore owner. 21, a global conspiracy to shape our lives in the year 2100. Greg and I heard someone talk about that once. He said that we all thought about the year 2000, but no one is thinking about the year 2100. Isn't that weird? It's like we can't imagine a future for our race anymore.
Oh, wait a minute. This is Corbeau talking. Whoops.
A global conspiracy to shape our lives in the year 2100. Greg and I heard someone talk about that once. He said that we all thought about the year 2000, but no one is thinking about the year 2100. Isn't that weird? It's like we can't imagine a future for our race anymore. It's like someone took all those plans we had for the future. Where did they go? And that's about all the time Why can't we think for the future anymore, Miss Chen? They already took our past, our heritage, and they're taking... As always, Elaine, thank you for your time.
Mel at midnight starts talking about movie star gossip. You check the local news over and over before you head out, because though you have a long trip ahead of you, the roads just get more and more dangerous. And you feel a change in Tucson. Agents of the Inquisition are everywhere. So you approach carefully, ready to take your Mercedes through the nearest gas station parking lot to get away in case there's trouble. You're half expecting to find a crater where the nightclub used to be. Instead, it's... hopping? Even at this early hour, the parking lot is so packed that you can't even get valet parking. You stash your Mercedes around the corner and leave Vani there so she won't get towed. Or that you won't get towed. The new bouncer has no idea who you are, but you just shove past him and signal Alexander.
I think we're celebrating the end,
Alexander says over the Gogol Bordello cover band. So you were allowed to reopen? You ask.
Not really, Alexander says, but we've paid off a few people for now, and we need money, and Leteau, he is worried. I think that the crowds reassure him. Both of us grew up in the countryside, you see. There's so much silence. We have crave crowds when times are bad.
I'm supposed to be picking up some ground-penetrating radar, you say. Alexander points to a pair of heavy plastic storage containers on a foldable push dolly. You and Vani load the containers into your Mercedes.
You're delivering to a hotel across the border in California, Alexander says.
He tosses you an old film canister. Inside, address, passcodes, snapshots of your contacts. Just delivering? You ask. You have a good relationship with the Camarilla right now, and you don't want any confusion to arise if they try to screw you.
Unless Prince Leteau tells you otherwise, Alexander says.
Leteau won't be able to contact me, but the old ghoul just walks away. You're heading west this time, just over the California border to the lawless region that was once called the Anarch Free State. It's a frustrating drive, since you could blast down Route 8 through Yuma in just a few hours, but that road will be crawling with cops. Instead, you'll just have to drive northwest to avoid the SI, skirting Phoenix before you wind through artificially irrigated farm country worked by migrant labor until you hit the desert. The halfway point is just nearly empty sprawl for miles and miles. You'll have to be careful as sunrise approaches so you don't find yourself stranded. You ask yourself the same question as the last 2 times. Where can you find shelter during the day? You did fine last time, but who knows what awaits you on the road west. Okay. Now, this right now, Kath, I would say would be best. Use my tech skills to rig up a portable shelter inside our car. So Inton technology. Putting together a portable shelter isn't hard. You always keep a few double-lined body bags in your Mercedes in case of emergencies. The trick is assembling one that absolutely will not draw attention if you park on the side of the road. You do plan on living forever, after all, and getting dragged out of your tarp by some curious state trooper to burn in the midday sun would ruin that plan. You spend several hours rebuilding and reinforcing your portable shelter, making sure everything is ready. Then you do it again so you have a spare. After loading some extra scanning equipment into Vani's Fiat and watching her take off, you once again contemplate the best place to stop for the day. After some deliberation, it seems that your best bet is right at the Arizona-California border. A town there has an IHOP, which means it's civilization. The drive is in fact quite beautiful under the moonlight, marred only by the frustration you feel knowing that you could shave hours off of this trip. The first thing you do is look for a place where your Mercedes won't get noticed. There's no shortage of fields, empty lots, and quiet alleys, but it's hard to find a sufficiently out-of-the-way place. Finally, you spot an abandoned lot where you can hide your Mercedes behind a truck, but it's getting toward dawn. Hurrying, trying not to panic, you check your kit one last time, shining your phone light all over it. Light shines through. There's a hole. You patch it up with duct tape, then wrap more duct tape around some of the corners. The sun is rising. This'll have to do. You crawl inside and seal yourself up with moments to spare. Unnerved, but unharmed. As you get back into the road heading west, you once again scan your rearview mirror for signs of pursuit. But it looks like you're clear. You head for the deep desert. Traveling back into this desert feels like traveling back in time. You can almost smell the carpeting in Julian's old Geo tracker, the mold around the water bottles you left in the desert for migrants, so Rara Mouse could find them easily and not awaken fully. But now that ancient monster is waking up, and his rise will draw the entire Second Inquisition down on you. You check your maps, then turn off the main highway. Mesas rise up on either side of the road, black against the stars. You were expecting some kind of scientific way station, maybe just tents and trailers, but your address points you to a Desert View motel. Its neon vacancy sign flashes in the darkness. There's a payphone on the road just outside the hotel. You know every payphone in Arizona, but not in California, and you instinctively memorize this one's location. But the receiver is off its hook, and there's blood on the outer case. Okay. Trouble. I reach for the canvas bag holding my sword. You unzip part of the canvas bag so the hilt of your wakizashi protrudes. Then you have to swerve when you see a body in the road. You skid to a halt, one hand on the hilt of your sword, but there's no one around, except whoever is lying on the asphalt. Still not leaving the Mercedes, you lean across the car's cabin to examine the body through the passenger window. Male, middle-aged, disemboweled by a knife or a claw. Then an engine roars to life in the parking lot and two headlights illuminate your car. You get ready to fight, but the vehicle approaches slowly and indirectly, with the stately grace of someone unconcerned with the blood on the streets. A 1925 Rolls-Royce Phantom 1 Coupe, black, rolls up to you, and the mirrored window rolls down. The keys are in the ignition, Your Excellency. Wretch, it's wonderful to finally see you, Prince Leto says. We've had some complications. The Rolls is stuffed with mechanical equipment, like Leto is going to build another, slightly smaller luxury car out here. What are those thick wires for? holding up an antenna. And there's something wrapped in a tarp on the roof. Another car rolls down the street. When you turn to look, you think you see the brake lights of Vani's Fiat, but you can't be sure. There are a few other cars parked here, including a Fisker Ocean, a fancy electric SUV. Riga is perched atop the hotel's neon AAA sign. The Eagle watches you incuriously as Prince Leto steps out of his coupe. He's abandoned his white linen in favor of a black diesel jacket, heather gray tee, jeans, and heavy boots. He looks almost human. Riga warned me that my people were under attack, Leto says as he drags the corpse away from the street to join a dozen others. Some are naked and filthy, and 2 have decayed into husks. I was, as you can see, too late. Who did it? And are we still in danger? The one we hunt did it, Prince Leto says. When an elder dreams, certain creatures listen. He called whites and other servitors to him, and they killed my people. I'm worried that they also killed my technical contact for this operation. Technical contact, you say? A specialist on ground-penetrating radar technology, Prince Leto says. Mine is a small court, Wretch, and I do not employ every kind of expert, so I must look elsewhere. But I'm told he's the best. I am, Julian Sims says, and he points at the corpses. What happened to all of your guys, Leto? Oh my god! Is that a Rolls-Royce Merlin engine? Julian asks. Dressed in a blue-gray coverall like when he carried water for the Camarilla, he pops the hood of Leto's car and starts poking around. Ah, Mr. Sim, you're the one plotting to bring down the Masquerade from behind his laptop. Give me one reason why I should not destroy you, Anarch, Prince Leto says. You need to stop saying destroy, man, Julian says. It lets everyone know you're a vampire. That goes double for you, Leto, since you have a Dracula accent. I do not have a Dracula accent. Yes, it is a Rolls-Royce Merlin engine. I learned to fly before I learned to drive. First, Julian says, you need me to set up the imaging equipment to find Rere Mouse. I want to stop Rere Mouse as badly as you do, which is why I'm here. And I really do know what I'm doing, unlike your favorite courier. A second, have you heard of a dead man switch? Every 2 weeks I type in a code that prevents 50 gigabytes of Masquerade violations from going right to the LA Times and research institutes around the world. Third, you don't get to hear the third reason, because something rushes out of the desert, silent as an owl, knocks you onto the asphalt, and leaps onto Prince Leto. He hurls it away, clipping Julian so the Banu Hakim falls backward against your Mercedes. The thing lands on its feet and knuckles. You almost have time to look at it, but then it rushes the 3 of you again, still moving so fast it's only a gray blur in the night, outlined by a hazy neon of the AAA sign. The gray blur leaps. Oh god! Okay. Oh, get down, Mr. President! Yeah, the gear will be completely hosed without the gear. They're big boys. They can take care of themselves. You're here to do a job, and you're not going to let this thing mess that up. You get its attention, lure it away from your Mercedes, and then dodge its blurring fist. But its huge hand grabs you by the wrist, lifts you up, and slams you into the ground with enough force to shatter every bone in a human's body. You check the equipment. It's fine, and so are you. The monster lets go of your wrist and then raises a foot to crush you. Then Prince Leto drives his hand through the monster's back so his clawed fingers burst out of its chest. Good old protean claws. The moment it's restrained, you recognize your attacker. The white from when you came across that migrant family just after your old CRX broke down for the last time. You recognize the hideous face of the Nosferatu, and the dead, empty eyes of a vampire consumed by its beast. Yeah, thank God that we took fortitude. Hello, old friend, Prince Leto says. You two are acquainted? Julian asks, keeping his distance as the Nosferatu hammers ineffectually on the prince.
Modian is a child of Reremaus, Leto says. A scholar and a visionary. You would have liked him, Julian. His shadow arts helped create the Tucson Elysium, but he ran afoul of Jasper Knowles, and the warlock stripped him of his humanity and turned him into this. What a shame. The prince grabs Modian's spine just above the heart and rips it out. The white topples forward, and all three of you back away as it rots like a sped-up version of a rat left in the sun. In seconds, nothing remains but corruption and the reek of death.
Leto wins. Fatality.
Gangrel princes, they are not to be trifled with. Prince Leto cleans himself up in one of the empty motel's bathrooms.
It'll be dawn soon, he says. We'll rest during the day, then assemble the equipment tomorrow evening.
His voice permits no dissent. You spend an hour dragging corpses into the motel's storage shed. No one is left alive, and you have no idea where Vani is, though you've seen her fiat. The Desert View Motel saw long-term use by Leto's people, meaning one room is equipped for vampires. As the junior member of this endeavor, you get the folding cot while Leto and Julian take the twin beds. I smell a sitcom, road trip movie. Okay, guys. Well, we are at the end of this, at least. That's not so bad, yeah. Some of the cots are actually quite comfy, especially if you have, like, the couch that can pull out. It's not too bad. But I think that is going to do it. I did not do it for this stream. I did not expect that we were going to be in the middle of the desert with both the prince and Julian together. So, I'm actually, I'm quite happy that we've been juggling our allegiances and we're on good stats with both of them, because I think things are about to get really, really interesting very quick. Yeah. Just double checking. Camarilla and Julian relationship is at 4, but just because we have a high Camarilla relationship doesn't mean we have a high Leto relationship, if that makes any sense. But the stuff in Dallas with the Toreador was actually quite fun. I like the fact that you can be so tactical. That's my favorite thing about this game, is like, so far, is it you can just use tactics and it's fun. And you can find ways around stuff, and I'm enjoying it quite thoroughly. Hopefully there won't be a new patch anytime soon, so we don't have to continually redo our decisions. But how much money do we have real quick? Let's take a quick look before we... Oh, we need food. We got a hunger of 3, I just saw. Lovely. We've got 27 grand in wealth right now, so not too shabby. Oh, we can probably finish the game up this week, all being well? Holy crap. All right. Well, I am really enjoying it, and I hope you guys are too, and I hope you'll tune in for the next stream. Everyone in chat, hang tight. We're going to go ahead and do a raid, and just please stay tuned for that. But thank you guys very much for watching. If you haven't followed this stream, please do so. I try and stream on Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, random times in between. And if you're watching the replay of this on YouTube, I have a link to the Twitch channel in the description below, as well as a link to my Extra Life page where I'm raising money for my local Children's Miracle Network hospital via the incredible Extra Life charity. So please check out both of those links if you feel so inclined. Like, share, subscribe. You guys know the drill there. And we will see you next time. Later days, everyone.